All right, all right. Welcome, everybody. It's Monday night. It's time to bring it once again. I am your host, the big dog in the house. What is up, everybody? It's so good to see everybody. Hope everyone's doing all right. We got the OG crew here. We got my man Ray from Jayville. What's up, Ray?
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, it's good to see you, Ray. We got my buddy Andrew. What is up, Drew?
What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's good that you be back. You're in your new crib now. You got LeBron on one side, Kobe on the other. That's a whole show just talking about those two.
And the Jordan's next to the Kobe.
Oh well, the Jordan needs to be in the picture next week. Okay.
Okay, deal.
Yeah, that's the deal. And we got a special guest tonight. Oh, we're gonna get to Andrew's jersey in just a minute. And we got a special guest tonight. We got Mike from the OC in the house. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, Yoel, Ray, Andrew? Greetings from hot Orange County. We're getting close to 100. I know where you guys are, but I know Yoel's in Florida.
Yeah, Andrew's in Florida. We're all in Florida. The different parts of Florida. Yeah, so it's been definitely warm on here. Yeah. Well, you've got that desert heat where it's just 100 degrees in the shade, right?
No, I'm actually pretty good. That's, California is so different. There's so many different, types of weather. You got Orange County, you got Riverside, you got LA, you got the beach, you got the mountains, you got the desert. So it's all over the place. So
cool.
I'm North Orange County, not too bad.
Yeah. Either way, the OC is a beautiful place. Definitely love visiting out there. Don't like the traffic though. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's back now. Pandemic's over. It's back.
It is back. All right. Well, before we get on, Andrew, what jersey are you wearing tonight?
I had to go with the old school Phoenix Suns after the big sweep.
Oh, okay. Wait, you froze up there. You got to show us once again.
I'm old school Phoenix Suns.
All right, there you go. That's like the Charles Barkley, Dan Marley, Danny Ainge days, right?
Exactly. Big Van Arsdale, Tom Van Arsdale.
Yep.
And in honor of the big sweep.
Yes, exactly. Well, you know what? Let's start there then. Let's start with the sweep. Phoenix last night swept Denver in 4 games straight. Chris Paul is playing amazing, just playing amazingly right now. And he's like on this whole other level. And to me, he was the MVP. I would have voted for Chris Paul. But the talk about last night is unfortunately not about the sweep, but it's about the call in the third quarter with Jokic getting thrown out for that supposed flagrant 2. So let's start with Ray. I saw Ray a little eye roll there. Ray, what's your take on the foul call last night?
I mean, to me, I think it was worth a flagrant 1, not a 2, because he really, if you look at it in slow motion, and I ran it back in slow mo because I got a slow mo replay, then I can run back stuff and look at it. He really didn't come across the nose that hard. I mean, it looked worse than what it did, and that's what the referees went with. And then they went into replay. But, the replay is full speed. It's not actually slow down replay either. So, New York got the slow down stuff, but they could have made the call. But they went with the flagrant 2, got ejected, and that really changed the ball game around a little bit more, put a little bit more pressure on Denver because they had no their superstars were gone. They had Murray gone and Jokic gone in the fourth quarter. Right. So, I mean, but with Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul is an extension of like we've been saying, Chris Paul is an extension of a head coach out on the court. I mean, he puts the people in the right spot. If they're not in the right spot, if you watch him go to timeout, he tells them about it. So, I mean, if you look at it this way, I mean, Phoenix had that series in control because one of 2 things is they ran the fast break. Jokic got tired. Jokic could not run the fast break and play the defense of it. So it really tired him out, and it really made him less effective for the Phoenix Suns. And that was a smart game plan.
Oh, definitely. All right, Mike, I saw you reacting to that, so I want to hear your take on this.
I was reading my daughter. She just walked in the house, too. So,
okay.
Aspiring filmmaker, by the way. Yeah, that was an awful call. I mean, come on. You cannot throw the guy. That's Denver's only hope, literally. They're going to lose anyhow. But that's their only hope. He wound up, I don't know if the rule per se, I mean, because of the windup, but at first I thought how did he even get hit in the face? I thought he got hit on the hand, but it was, make it a 1. You guys remember, well, not all you guys remember. You guys remember McHale and Rambis back in the day. You remember that, right? In the Celtics, Lakers, the great finals of the 80s. I mean, literally, Kevin McHale choked out Rambis, essentially. No technicals, go shoot the free throws. Guys were brawling on the court. That's the NBA back in the 80s. It was the best,
Exactly.
And, so, I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous, especially a star player like that. You got to be careful of what you call. So it should have been a 1, but not, Not a kick
No,
out. No way
def-
should have been kicked out of the game.
Definitely. I mean, you got to give the MVP some cachet. And as you did watch the replay, yeah, he does wind up, but he's not winding up with intent to injure him. No doubt. He's winding up with intent to hit the ball, and he grazed his nose. But I think because of what escalated afterwards, where the pushing and shoving, it's in my opinion, I think the refs said, we got to make an example, or this game's going to get out of hand. Andrew, what do you think?
Well, it's interesting because I think, first of all, I don't think he should have been ejected. But what's interesting is to read, everything that's come out after, and that Jokic was kind of looking to, get some energy out of his teammates to kind of be the enforcer on the floor with that foul. It definitely was somewhat on an intentional level. Whether it was worth the 2 and the automatic ejection, I hate that rule to begin with. I hate that it could be called and then go to replay and then get overturned, or go to New York to get reviewed again. I hate it. It should be a flagrant with just take your 2 shots. The team gets the ball. If it's
right,
deliberate that the guy picked him up out of it, body slammed him, that's something else. But don't throw a guy out of a game, out of a playoff game for a call like that. I mean, and even the scuffle with Booker. It's playoff basketball. That's what fans want to see anyway. Imagine if they didn't throw him out and they let him play through that, what the energy and the atmosphere would have been like in the arena.
Right.
But no matter what, they were already down 3-0. It was done before the series had even started with the injuries. When Murray went down, I felt the Nuggets were done anyway. To me, it's the biggest heartbreak of the season because I was a big Denver advocate since we started doing the show back in February.
Right.
I said Jokic was going to get MVP all along. I mean, he did, well deserved. I'm more disappointed for them than even as a Knicks fan for the Knicks. Like, I really thought Denver was going to go far, and they got the injury bug and it caught up to them. But hats off to the Suns. I mean, a sweep against Denver. They took out the Lakers. They are not taking any shortcuts to the finals path.
No, they're definitely not. And I think this will benefit because this will benefit Phoenix. I mean, it depends on what happens tonight with the other series, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But Phoenix is now going to get some rest. Chris Paul is going to get some rest. So with that shoulder problem he's been having, for him to rest even 3 or 4 days is huge for this ball club. So, I mean, you definitely have to right now favor the Suns. Mike Hughes, our boy Mike, said Suns in 4, baby, which is definitely an interesting take. And our boy John has an interesting take for you, Andrew. He says that you're going to need a new Lakers number 6 behind there instead of the LeBron 23. So John is one of our faithful viewers. He always comes up with good stuff for Andrew.
Not with the way that LeBron played this postseason.
No, but let's try to go without a show without talking about LeBron. That's Freddie's job. That is Freddie's job. But yeah, so let's talk about this Phoenix team a little more. I mean, the youth on this team. I mean, Devin Booker's been an all-star, but I mean, Mike, do you really think that this playoff run they're having is not only Chris Paul's crowning moment of he's definitely a Hall of Famer, but this is like Booker's like coming from a star to a superstar, and this is playoff run he's having.
Oh, he's been tremendous. I mean, you saw what he did to my Lakers. I mean, he literally handily took them out, almost by himself. There, he's just been. I mean, and I think on a national stage now, people are getting to see what he's all about. He's always had all the talent. He just needs to keep his emotions in check a bit. Sometimes his emotions get the best of him. He got tossed out of a Laker game earlier this year, and then got tossed again near the end there. But he's tremendous. But I can't be happier for Chris. I mean, he's battled all these injuries. He's been a great professional. All these years, and you got to be happy for Monty Williams and everything he's been through, his personal pain and everything. I think everybody's rooting for the Suns. I mean, really. I mean, unless you're a Jazz fan or one of the few Clipper fans out there. Right. But it's great. I'm happy for Chris. I've always liked Chris. I just admire what he does. And it'd be amazing if he gets to the finals finally at his age now and all those years, all the injuries and everything. So
it was also
they got a shot.
Really
They're
cool.
hot.
Yeah, they are.
It'll be really cool. I don't see it happening, but it'll be really cool if the Suns have to go through the Clippers and Chris Paul gets to stick it to the Clippers on his way to
exactly.
That would be good.
That would be really cool. And he's 36. He's having his best season as far as the furthest he's gone. He never
Yes.
went this far throughout his entire career, and he's playing his best basketball right now. In my
This is
opinion,
the second Western Conference final. He's been
second West. Okay, so
He's been there once
second.
before. Yeah.
So he's been in the league for what, 15 years?
Oh yeah,
16
yeah.
years?
I mean, it's been rough, but he
Yeah.
made it with Oklahoma City, right? I want to say
Yeah,
You know
I think
what,
it
when they
was.
play,
it
that's
wasn't the
right.
Clippers because they never make it. So
It was that one year that New
Yeah.
Orleans had to go to Oklahoma City because of Katrina.
Yeah.
Right.
And they were the Oklahoma City Hornets.
Is that when he went to the conference finals? Was that long?
I know
ago?
we should look it up. You guys
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
gotta.
we'll look it up.
You guys got a
That was it.
statistician.
That was that
But no, I
would
heard
be it.
second today. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but you can tell how much it means to him after the game last night.
Oh yeah, I mean, you saw he walked up, hugged his mom. You
Yeah.
know that whole thing. That was just amazing.
Yeah, he's a
you know,
great pro.
And yeah,
And
he's
his
been
brother-
a great pro. He's been a he's been a
pro.
good guy,
Yeah,
great
sure,
pro.
bro.
He's played clean. You know, he plays the game the right way. He plays the point guard position in the modern way, but in the old school way too. Because he scores, but he dishes. And I'm like real old school when it comes to point guards. I think my point guard should dish and let the other guys score, but he can do both. When it comes
He's
all
been in the league now so long where the debate was who's the best point guard, Chris Paul, Deron Williams, or Rajon Rondo.
yeah, that's how far back he goes. That is
That's
very,
a
very
long
true.
time.
And it was a point guard league. No one had an answer. It was a Jordan LeBron debate back in 07, 08.
And just remember, he was almost a Laker, except David Stern vetoed the trade.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
horrible thing that was. He was
was
a Laker.
pathetic.
Yeah. I want to say an interesting little side note on Jokic. That was his first flagrant foul in 345 games as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a time to get that, right?
That was
That is crazy. Well, let's move on to the other game from yesterday. And a few days ago, we all thought Milwaukee was done. And now we have a series. We have a best of 3 series. And the Nets are the underdog right now because their 2 other guys are hurt. Kyrie's hurt. Harden's hurt. I mean, Harden's always hurt. But Ray, what has happened to this series? What's going on here? It's like night and day. This series. It's crazy.
When Kyrie Irving went down, now left Durant on the island by himself. Game 5 is going to be the turning point of this series because they're going to be without Harden and Kyrie Irving for that game. So the game is going on Durant's back. Can Durant carry him like we always says, we always battle on to the other person that was on the Lakers team. We pointing fingers at that. Can he carry? Can Durant now do the thing and carry a team on his back? And that's going to be the question of this series right now because Giannis and them are found their niche with just Durant out there by himself. So, I mean, that's the real point of this series. Everybody's going to talk about the injuries and stuff like that. If they didn't get injured, but it's no excuse because everybody's professional athletes out here. So you can't use that as an excuse. So Durant's going to have to step up and he's going to be, if he's going to be the number 1 guy in the NBA, he's going to have to step up and play like the number 1 guy in the NBA. They can put a team on his back and carry him. But right now, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure. And they've become like the enemy of the league, right? They're like, they're the team that no one wants to win because of what they did all season, And we talked about this last week about, their load management thing. And if they end up winning the whole thing, it's going to make load management look like a working process. And then the whole concept of the league is going to change, I mean, Mike, you're from California. You got to see KD play out on the West Coast. You probably saw him more than us here on the East Coast. So, like, what's your overall take on KD as a player with his injuries and his attitude and just the whole thing about him?
Well, listen, he's one of the best players ever. Simple as that. He's a tremendous offensive player. Maybe seen a guy that size, that skilled ever. I mean, I'm thinking back over the years. You got George Gervin, 6'8" with the Spurs. You get in, make every shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never seen a guy this tall, this lanky, make such crazy shots on the outside. Literally can't guard him sometimes. He's unguardable.
No.
But, he has to show, he hasn't taken a team. He hasn't won just by himself, obviously. He won with Steph and those guys and Clay and everything. But he's a tremendous player, and he knows he has to step up. But the team was built around 3 players, obviously, and they haven't been 3 all year, really. So it changes the dynamic. They have to get all the other guys to step up. I'm saying they can't do it, but let's face it, you go down 2 of those guys, it's not going to be easy. But I still don't trust the Bucks because they don't shoot well sometimes. Giannis takes those crazy threes, which is not his game. But PJ Tucker on Kevin, That's a really good assignment. If you body him like they did, and Nash is complaining, that could be the difference.
No,
putting
it's
that body on him. You know, he was like not. And they're buddies from Texas. University of Texas. You know, they were getting into it.
And it's interesting what you mentioned Durant and Tucker. You know, we got to talk about what happened over the weekend.
Yes.
With that scuffle and Kevin Durant's personal security guard, who I guess he somehow got on that's payroll, runs out onto the court and decks Tucker, and then now he's been suspended.
Yeah, I saw that. That was
during that scuffle. He came out and did that.
Yeah, if you watch the tape, there's a security guy who pops out, and I didn't. They thought, Drew, you're right. They thought it was like arena security, and it was Kevin. It was Durant's guy.
It was Kevin Durant's personal security guard who is on the net payroll, so he does get access to the court during those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But he took it. You know, it's the whole thing was when the security supposed to get involved, not get involved, and at what level. And he came in. I mean, I'm sure all of you have seen the highlights by this point. He came in and decked Tucker.
Yep. Basically, that's what he did. It was. You
don't
crazy.
see that every day. Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't.
He'll be getting some papers on that.
Right. Right.
How many games? So we had a 72 game regular season, and the Nets have. How many games into the playoffs are the Nets right now? First and second round.
They're 5 against Boston, so they're 9. They're 9 in.
9. So we've had 81 games of basketball. How many games did the big three play together?
I think I don't think over 10. I don't think it was 10. You know,
it's in that range, give or take a couple. It's in that range.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Hey, what's up, Eric? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Well, and Andrew, I want to put this to you because Andrew and I are big. We like to talk about 90s basketball a lot. The way PJ is playing Kevin Durant, it's kind of reminding me a little bit about Bruce Bowen. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you asked Kobe Bryant, who was the toughest defender that he faced, and it was Bruce Bowen.
Mm-hmm. That's who he reminds me of, Bruce Bowen. The way he's in his face. He's playing the game the way it should be played, none of this ticky-tack foul crap. You know, I mean, you know, he's not playing the no blood, no foul of the 80s, but it's kind of close. You know?
Right.
You know, if you look throughout the first couple rounds of the playoffs, we've actually had some very physical moments.
Yeah.
Many of the games, it has not been that soft, everyone's best friends type of basketball this year.
No, it definitely hasn't.
He's a throwback, no doubt. You know, Charles Oakley, those kind of guys. You know, back to Willie Lucas. I mean, you don't see that a lot anymore. But you play physical, it's going to throw you off. It's throwing Kevin off.
Did you just drop Maurice Lucas on us, Mike?
Big Mo, baby.
There you go. There you go.
Big
All right.
Mo. He's a hell of a player.
How many? Are you guys aware of Pat Riley's rule during the '90s Knicks run of the playoffs about knocking guys down and picking them back up?
No, what was that? I heard about that.
So I heard this. I was with Anthony Mason, and Mace told me this directly. So this isn't coming from some article from some media. Mace told me that Riley would personally fine the guys $500 if they helped him up off the ground after a foul.
Yeah,
really.
That's Pat Riley for you.
That's wow.
The Pat Riley story is fascinating. You know, it really is incredible because you guys know he just kind of lucked into getting into coaching, right? You know the story. Can we veer off for a minute, Joel?
No, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. Okay, yeah. I know. I sort of know it, I know
the Lakers history like the back of my hand, right? Because I was born in Inglewood. You know, I went to games at Weston, Baylor, and Chamberlain, those guys. Mm-hmm. But Pat Riley was a broadcaster with a great Chick Hearn. To me, the best broadcaster ever in basketball.
Right.
And Jack McKinney, 1979, first year as a coach with Magic, was in a bike accident. Okay, 10 games into the season, he got a head injury. He had to basically leave the team. Okay, so they moved Westhead from the assistant job, Paul Westhead, into the head coaching job, right? They needed an assistant coach. Chick Hearn had to convince Pat Riley to take that job because he was a broadcaster. He was, I don't think I'm good for it. No, I think you'll be good. Okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. And the rest is history, right? He became the assistant coach. They won a title. The next year, Westhead got fired because they lost to the Rockets. They got swept out. It was a best-of-3 series then. Mm-hmm. And then that made Pat Riley the coach, and he won 4 titles, and the rest is history. The Knicks, and now he's a true legend. I mean, it's really just an interesting set of circumstances where he didn't plan to get into coaching whatsoever.
Right. Well, Andrew and I are Knicks fans, so we I know I have
He's
I mean,
had
I
three
love
good
what
careers. Lakers, Knicks,
yeah.
and the Heat.
Well, I love what he did for the
2000, 2002, somewhere in that range.
yeah.
And
Let's
he was
see,
on the
but
72 Lakers 33 in a row. Don't forget that. He won a ring with the
he
Lakers.
was.
in the Jerry West
Was
title.
was he on that Kentucky team that played Texas Western?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Okay. All right. I thought I knew
Yeah.
that. All right. I was trying to remember that. Yeah. Riley's been around, and what he's done for the league is amazing, and how he's changed with the league. But still, the way he just faxed in his resignation to the Knicks to come down to Miami is kind of that's a little sore spot with me. But
I'll never forget the Heat's first game back when he returned for the first time, and he goes out to center court, and they're all booing him, and he's blowing kisses. It was hilarious.
And during the Showtime years, his motto was it wasn't about the offense. It's no rebounds, no rings. So he always stressed the defense. You think it was all flash but no, it was defensively.
Right.
That's what he wanted. You had to play defense, or you weren't going to win, and that's what he did.
Yeah, those Showtime teams were something else. But
Big game James.
Yeah. Oh, that was something.
Big game. Yeah. For Spectrum Sportsnet now.
Yeah, exactly. Ray's a big North Carolina guy, so he's definitely.
Oh, there you go, Ray.
Knowledge about that.
Andy Smith, big games is great. He was so incredible with the Lakers.
Oh yeah,
Just
no
fantastic.
doubt. And it's interesting because we're going back and we're kind of comparing eras and seeing how the game is developed and how it is now, and how a lot of these foul calls they call now are just they're
ticky tack.
They're ticky tack. They're chicken beep fouls. It's ridiculous. And we all remember how the game was played. Andrew was good friends with Anthony Mason. May he rest in peace. And Mace just played physical and banged under the boards. Andrew and I used to play in a basketball league together. They called me Bill Lambier because I would just bang it underneath. I didn't score at all. I would just get rebounds. He
didn't have 1 point over a 10-game season.
I had no points. I got a whole lot of rebounds, but no points whatsoever.
A lot of elbows thrown. Some guys knocked to the ground. Not a single. He had more guys knocked like to the ground than points.
He looked like Anthony Mason. This guy I worked with. They used to call him Mace. He just had that look and everything about him. He really did resemble him, though. Back in the 90s.
Mace, you didn't want to mess with him, and he was a free agent. Right? I mean, he wasn't even drafted, right, Drew?
No, he was originally. He was not drafted. The Denver Nuggets had signed him, cut him. He was then, believe it or not, he was on the Nets for a very brief stint, and then he went to go play for the CBA before the Knicks ended up taking a shot at him.
Oh, where did he go to college?
Where did he go to college? Do you know?
Tennessee State.
Yeah. Okay, he went there. Cool. Very, very cool. All right. Well, let's get a little score update here right now. The Philly and Atlanta game right now, it's 6:35 left in the second quarter. The Sixers are up 38-32. All right. It's still close. So anybody's game. So that could be. And one baseball score I want to update because I'm a Mets fan is the Mets are up 3-0, bottom of the fourth. So that's a good thing. Cool. All right. Let's get back. I'd do a little score update. All right. Wait. Well, what did our boy John say here? What is John saying? In 2018. Right. Also, it's the 18 Western Conference Finals. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, John. Appreciate that info. John's always got some good little tidbits for us. Cool. All right, so let's talk about Atlanta and Philly. It's been an interesting series. Embiid. I think Embiid's injury is the whole key to that series. How Embiid's knee goes is how the Sixers go. But Mike, we've been talking about Atlanta a lot the last couple of weeks and how this has been a true coming out party for Trae Young. So, talk about Atlanta and Trae and how much he has just come to the forefront and become one of the new superstars in this league.
He's been incredible. I mean, I don't think anybody really saw this coming, right? I mean, you saw him at Oklahoma, right? Yeah, and you saw how good he was, but with that size and slight, you thought, he'll be decent, but he's like a beast within, right? He's so tough and so tenacious out there and just better than expected, and he's just getting better. And it's great to see. I'm happy for the Hawks, because they've had their moments. They can never get past the Celtics all those years. Dominique can never get past Larry and all these teams. Great stars over the years, and they can never get it done. And it might be tough this year. We'll see if they could and take it by the Sixers. But it's going to be tough, But it's good to see them back, and they definitely have a good foundation now. No doubt with Trey there, and they got some good shooting, and Dave McMillan's done a great job. He's just a good coach.
Oh, McMillan's a very, very Well, he was one of the coaches on the Olympic team under Krzyzewski, so he definitely, he learned under the best, and he should definitely get that job. I mean, the fact that he's not getting the job yet is ridiculous. He needs to get signed, full time.
It's kind of funny about the Hawks. Every time the Lakers used to play the Hawks and Kobe went in there were so many Kobe jerseys and Kobe. Well, Kobe had fans all over the league, but it was like Staples Center, basically for the Lakers in those years when the Lakers came to town. I mean, you really had more Lakers fans there almost. So it's good to see that they're out there supporting their Hawks now.
Oh yeah,
they
got a good team.
Wherever they went of the '90s, there were always more Bulls fans than any home team.
Same kind of thing.
Exactly. It's always been that way, So now, Drew, let's go to you let's go to the other side with the Sixers. So now, the Sixers, it's been interesting that, everyone's talking about Embiid, everyone's talking about Simmons, but, Tobias Harris has had a great series so far, and he's been balling and scoring. So, it seems like he's almost like the underdog on that team that makes that engine really go if Embiid is hurt,
Tobias Harris has been the glue for this offense. Harris has had a very interesting career to me because he's had a very up and down career. He started out in Orlando. He was supposed to be Orlando's, future superstar once they let Howard go. Like he was going to be the star of the team, and then all of a sudden he became a journeyman for a little bit. Bounced around and wasn't really the household name that he had bounced back into this season. And he's had a phenomenal year, and they need him to be stepping up. And I wish Felix was on the show right now because I'd love to give him a hard time because we said all along that the Sixers are, fate is going to rely on Joel Embiid, and he kept saying, no, he's never going to happen. He's never going to get injured again. And lo and behold, of course, he's injured. And this could be the beginning of the end because if he is injured, I don't think the Sixers are any better than the Knicks roster. Right that they have, Simmons, but Simmons, I think I'd rather have Julius Randle than Ben Simmons.
Well, yeah, because Randle can shoot,
Randle can shoot. You compare the triple-double line. Okay, so if Simmons gets the assist, gets the rebound, Randle gets the points and the assists and the rebounds. So I don't think the Sixers without Embiid are a better team than the Knicks. And the Hawks, you saw what they did to the Knicks. They're going to do it to the Sixers if they don't get Embiid back.
Right.
And I think they can do it to the Nets if Kyrie's out for a significant amount of time.
Right. No, it's true. It's very true. It's gonna be interesting. So so like Ray, I mean, this series. I mean, if Atlanta wins tonight, obviously the series can go either way. So Philly's still up by they're up by 10 right now, and Tobias Harris has 14 points, which is what we just talked about. So but you said something last week about injuries, about strength, and Embiid, once again, he's dealing with his knee. He's dealing with that lack of strength, So, I mean, is he going to be able to last the playoffs? I mean, what do you think?
Right now, he's lasting the series right now. I mean, he's got 10 points already. I mean, a dangerous
rebounds. He's got 10 points and 10 rebounds already.
And a dangerous Embiid is a injured Embiid's dangerous when he's injured. That's just point blank. It shows what happened. He scored 39 points. He scored 40 points all on this torn meniscus. I mean, he came back 1 year. He tore his meniscus and came back and scored 40-some points. So, I mean, to me, he's lasting the series. I like the way they're doing it. They're slow. He plays 14 minutes right now. He's 3 for 7 from 2-point range, 1 for 1 from 3-point range, 4 for 4 from the foul line. He's got 11 points. Tobias Harris is 2 for 2 from 3-point and 6 for 10 from field goal and playing 16 minutes. And that right there shows me that Tobias is learning the game. He's picked up the game a little bit, and now he's putting a little bit of pressure on other people now because he can slash, he can score, he can shoot the three now. I mean, he's mixed up his game than what he had before coming, back for the 76ers. So then you got Curry, who's got 8 points, and then to me, I think 76 is a better team equip-wise with their starting five than Atlanta. But don't count Atlanta out, though, because because Nate McMillan, he's a scrapper. When he played for North Carolina State under Jim Valvano, he was a scrapper, and that's what his team is. The team has took on his face, but right now they're down about 17 points right now. So
they're only shooting 27% Atlanta. So that, I mean, you got to make baskets first before you do anything.
It's really that full strength. It's a
Trae Young. You got to look at it. Trae Young has 8 points, but he's 3 for 11 from 2 point and 2 for 5 from 3 point. He's 0-2 from the foul line. He's played 17 minutes. He's only got 8 points. He's got to pick it up a little bit more than what he's doing right now.
Yeah,
he's only got it. He's got 8 points in what going in. Halfway 2 minutes and 57 seconds left in the second quarter. But then again, Trae Young can go off in the next 2 quarters too. So
no, he can. He definitely can.
We talk about Ben Simmons shooting and whatnot, but I could put a foot in my mouth right now. He almost has a triple-double in the third quarter.
Yeah.
8, 10, and 7 in the third quarter. I mean, it's not 20 points. It's not a lot of play. I mean, 8, 10, and 7 in the third quarter.
I mean, but should 10, 10, and 10 count as a triple-double? I don't know about that.
Right.
I mean, Ben Simmons, you look at Ben Simmons, he's got 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and he's got 8 points.
Yeah, I mean,
right. But 4 for 9 shooting. I don't see the shooting chart, but I mean,
he's 4 for 9 from 2 point range. Right. He has shot no threes. He's 0 for 1 from foul line.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. His career threes, I believe, are under 10.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, he's playing within himself, and he's getting other teammates involved, and he's rebounding. So I mean, he's doing what they told him to do. He's playing good. He's playing pretty good defense too. So I mean, he's already got he's got no steals so far. He's got only 1 turnover on the offensive end. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sorry. Just we lost Mike there. I'm trying to get Mike back there.
Yeah.
All right. So John has another question of us. Do you see the Knicks going after a big name? Hardaway Jr. is a free agent, and Luka is expected to sign a $200 million supermax deal. They might run into salary issues if they give the 3 main guys a new contract. Interesting. Drew, you're a Knicks fan like me. But you're a little more invested in them than I am. So what do you think about that? What John's saying there?
I think the Knicks free agency will actually be based more around what ends up happening with Damian Lillard. If they could somehow maneuver a deal to bring, because he wants to come be a Knick. Can they make it happen?
That would be nuts if Damian Lillard came to New York. Oh wow.
Yeah. And you pair him up with Randall. I mean, oh my God! I mean, they reclaimed New York back from the Nets. Do they go after a big name free agent? Who is the big name free agent this year?
That I don't know. I haven't. We haven't gotten that far yet.
I haven't broken it down yet.
There isn't one. No one's talking about the free agents this year. It's not a LeBron, Chris Bosh type of year.
Right.
There's really that big name of an unrestricted free agent is not up on that list this year. So if they can make a deal and take on Damian Lillard's contract with the Blazers, I don't know how they would financially make it work.
Right.
I don't know how many. I don't even believe the Knicks have many big, deep contracts that they could trade. But I think before they even look at free agents, they're going to look to see what it would take to get Damian Lillard into a Knicks uniform.
Well, okay. In 20 this year to 2021 season, his Lillard's base salary was $31,626,000. So I'm sure Lillard. Okay, how long does Lillard have? He's got 2 seasons left. Yeah. So he's got
1.
Yeah.
Right. What's he owed next year? Right. So he's owed what next year?
I'm trying to see what he makes. What he's going to make this year. I mean, it looks like he's making about $30 million. But it probably escalates to at least more than that, because usually how those contracts work, they escalate and they go up and up and up. So
right, they're usually back end loaded.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you got to watch out what the salary cap is going to be for next year too. So
yeah, the league's saying it might not go up because of all the revenue they lost last season.
Then will the New York Knicks take the luxury tax? That's another possibility too. You can get in there and take the luxury tax on them.
Well, as much as we hate James Dolan, he can't afford it. That's for sure.
Look, can I just go back? John had typed in before the name Tim Hardaway Jr. Was he suggesting that the Knicks bring Hardaway back for the 3rd time?
He might. I mean, that's what he seems to say, that he's going to be a free agent. I mean, that's how I see it, because he's saying that there's not going to be enough room if they sign Luka to that supermax deal, and Porzingis is going to want money, and I mean, it seems like Hardaway Jr. has finally come into his own as a player, and but he's not the guy. He's not the guy to pair with Randall. You need that guard, as we've been saying with Lillard. That's the guy they need.
You got to assume Kawhi Leonard's not going anywhere. He's going to take his player option. So you take him off that list. Chris Paul's not going to go anywhere. Take him off the list. And then it comes down to the biggest name on this list is DeMar DeRozan. And I think this year really damaged the outlook for the remainder of his career.
Right.
I don't think he's a max player anymore. From where he was 3 years ago in Toronto, where he was, to what he's been over the last couple of years in San Antonio, he's not, to me, that max player. And then you go down this list.
Right.
There's no one on this list that as a Knicks fan, I'm like, oh my God, I hope they go and sign.
Is Kyle Lowry on that list?
He's on that list, but he's 35 years old.
Okay, well, let's look at the Chris Paul example. Maybe they need a veteran floor leader like that as an extension of the coach. Lowry's always been a good defensive player. He's won a championship. He knows how to win. He wouldn't be the focus. He would just kind of be like the floor leader to free up a Randall and a Barrett, and that type of thing. I mean, and he might not cost as much money.
I can't dispute that. I don't hate that about him.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a bad play at all. If that's
right.
what they, first of all, the point guard position has been the Knicks' biggest problem for years.
Right.
So if they bring Lowry in and they can get 2 seasons out of him until he's 37, 38 years old, phenomenal. I do think that veteran leadership is a lot more important these days than just bringing in a big name. Even going after a big three like Brooklyn. I mean, I think this Nets team is going to end up being a flop.
Oh yeah. Especially because look at the characters they have. I mean, Kyrie's nuts. James Harden, I don't trust James Harden, never have. So and KD's the only. I mean, even though Kyrie has won, he's won with LeBron. KD has won. He's won with Steph. So none of them have been a true leader per se. So yeah, the Nets team is going to be interesting.
The average fan of pro sports really don't. They don't think about what goes on in a locker room. They
Right.
read the articles on the back page. They listen to the talk shows. But let's look at these 3 personalities away from basketball right now. You have James Harden, who has had so many off-the-court issues in the last couple of years. He refused to return to Houston during the pandemic, went to the strip club. I don't know if you guys heard about that Airbnb situation at the beginning of the he's a mental health case. We got to see who Kevin Durant is off the court with the whole Michael Rappaport situation this year. And Kyrie is just literally going crazy. He's just mentally not sane.
Yeah, well, New York City will do that to a person, as we know.
So, imagine what goes on in the locker room, the type of conversations these guys have together on the plane or on the in the locker room, hotels and whatnot.
Maybe Kyrie's convincing them that the Earth is flat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the guy literally believes he knows the Earth is flat.
He's convinced. He's absolutely convinced.
I wonder if that's that Duke graduate. He went to Duke University. I wonder if they taught him that the Earth is flat.
That's coming from a true Tar Heel right there. That's funny. John's got another tidbit for us. Kemba Walker's been rumored to go to the Knicks in a trade, and his numbers are 36 and 37. I don't know. Kemba's injuries are.
I've never
I wasn't a fan of his in college, so yeah, I don't like that deal.
I've always thought he was overrated. I've always thought he was one of those players. When he was with the Hornets, they didn't have anyone else, so he became the superstar of that team. But if he went and played for a different team with other superstars, he would have quickly dropped down that list.
Yep.
No, it's going to be interesting. Well, let's move on to the last series. Game 4 is tonight between the Clippers and Utah. The series has taken another interesting turn because Conley is hurt for tonight, and I know I'm drawing a blank on the other guy for Utah who got hurt the other night. Thank you, Mitchell. Thank you, Donovan Mitchell. Got hurt the other night, so that series again could be tied up tonight. It's going to be interesting. The Clippers have playing well at home in this series, although they didn't play well at home the last series against Dallas until the end. So Ray, it's to me it's a toss up tonight. Ray, what do you think?
To me, I think it's a toss-up. Right now, I'm just going through the thing. I'm looking on ESPN. The matchup predictor is showing them 52.3% in favor of Utah, over 47.7% of the Clippers. So, I mean, can this be another way the Clippers get manufactured back into the series and do what they did the last series too? I mean, these injuries could play a big part in that Clippers game, and could be, momentum swings. How many times have we seen momentum swings from these injuries so far in the playoffs? A lot of injuries come in, like the Anthony Davis that swung the series to Phoenix. I think Phoenix would have won in 7 games anyway, but that flipped the switch from the Lakers over to Phoenix now. And then you got the Nets, who's now two guys injured now, is going to flip the series to Milwaukee. So, I mean, you never know what these injuries could do, and it could light a fire in the Clippers. But then again, Utah's been a sound team all season long, so they played without Donovan Mitchell before, they played without Collin before, and they still won some games here and there. So, I mean, the team is it's got good role players on there, and can probably keep them at bay. But then if you get Paul George and Kawhi Leonard involved in their game plan, and then get some more role players for them, they could probably overmatch the Jazz in this. If Donovan Mitchell Conley is not playing, but Mitchell, I think he's a go. So I think that might be a help for the Utah Jazz, in my opinion.
No, exactly. I mean, it seems like the way Mitchell goes is the way Utah goes. I mean, obviously they've only lost 2 games in the playoffs. The first game they lost was to Memphis when Mitchell didn't play, and the second game was the other night when they're just the Clippers just outshot them, out hustled them completely, and Kyrie and Paul George actually had a good game, So Drew, this is an interesting question, So obviously, with the Clippers, having that 1-2 punch of Kyrie and Paul George. But Paul George has been so ineffective. I mean, Kyrie basically carried Toronto when they won. So can Kyrie carry this Clipper team, or is this like a different kind of team that I don't know if Kyrie can carry or not?
You mean
I'm sorry, Kawhi. My fault. Kawhi, that's what I meant.
No, I think it's a different team. I think Paul George has not lived up to the expectations. I think it's about to be another disappointing season in the red, white, and blue version of La La Land. I listen. I think all along they had a bigger plan of getting a third superstar. I don't think that their grand plan was just these two, and I don't think they're ever going to see out their grand plan. And if they do happen to get past Utah, which I don't see happening, I think Phoenix takes them out. I truly believe that.
I mean, I think Phoenix right now is the dark horse, and I think they'll definitely be able to go. I think with this rest, as we talked about earlier, they're going to have a really good shot of winning this whole thing. I mean, you never know. What is this? Ever since Paul George got braids, look like Kawhi has been horrible. Oh man, that's cold. But that is true. That is very, very true. I mean, yeah, Paul George has definitely been so hot and cold in the playoffs. It's a shame. But I think Andrew, you said a couple weeks ago how overrated Paul was. It you who said how overrated Paul George was, if I remember?
I think everyone said it.
Yeah.
If it wasn't me a couple of weeks ago, it was someone else. He's been overrated since he left Indiana.
Right.
Oklahoma City was a disappointment. He was supposed to be Durant's replacement. It
Right.
was supposed to be like, all right, Kevin Durant went to Golden State. It's okay. We got you guys, Paul George. It'll be better.
Exactly. All right. So Drew, is your friend going to sign on soon, or what's going on?
Yeah, he's trying to get everything working. All
right, cool. We'll just wait on that. That's fine. So basically, I mean, I think the NBA playoffs have been pretty decent. I mean, it seems like there's been some games that have been either the games have been close or the games have been blowouts. There hasn't really been that that middle of the road game. Game 3 in Milwaukee, Brooklyn series was real close. A couple of the games in the first round were close. I mean, it's been definitely good to watch. I mean, I definitely think the playoffs have lived up to the hype so far. And I know, Ray, we talked about this last week, how it's nice to see some fresh blood in there, nice to see some new teams playing in there, some different flavors and all. So, I mean, at this point, obviously, the series of the semifinals is obviously the Milwaukee Brooklyn series being tied, being best of 3 at this point. But if both these series go 2-2 tonight, then it's a whole different ball game. We've got another week of games, another good matchups, and we'll see what happens. I mean,
how about no matter it's good at this rate, it's going to either be. I don't even want to say this rate. This is a fact. It's either going to be Utah, the Clippers, or Phoenix in the NBA Finals on the West side.
Right.
I'm going to say it looks like it's going to be Utah or Phoenix. I don't think it's going to be the Clippers. But when's the last time we've seen either one of those teams in the NBA Finals? Utah would be 98. Phoenix would be 93.
Right. Exactly.
So, when's the last time we did not see LeBron James in the Finals?
Right.
Yeah.
2 years ago, which was nice.
Right. So, but even over the last decade. So, and on the East as well, you're gonna have the Nets, Philly, or possibly Atlanta.
Right. Exactly.
New on all ends.
No, it's going to be good. And I mean, obviously, I think, the league would love a New York, Los Angeles final, even if it's Brooklyn and the Clippers and not the premier franchises. But still, from a rating standpoint, they definitely want those 2 big markets. But I think either way, the finals will definitely have a good rating because, people just like the fact that basketball is back. People are at the games now. The crowds are getting louder. The energies is in the building. The energy is translating on television. Especially in Utah. I mean, you hear how loud it gets in Utah. Yeah. It is insane
because they're nuts. Sitting right on top of the court.
Yeah, exactly. It is nuts on there.
While we're waiting on my friend, did you guys read that article about Karl Malone? I never knew this about him.
What about him?
It was about the statutory rape, how he got a 13-year-old pregnant back when he was 20. Did you know that story?
Yeah, I heard about it.
I don't know this.
I just read it this week. It was
wow.
Ray, when did you hear about this?
I heard it about a while ago. I mean, I grew up when Karl Malone came into the NBA, and there was some skepticism about him and what he did in his curricular away from the court curricular activities. And I heard about him and I just recently heard about him getting the girl pregnant.
So he was I believe she was 20 and got her pregnant at 13. But then he also got another woman pregnant who ended up having twins. And he made both women sign not just non-disclosure agreements. He paid them off to make sure that these kids stayed out of his life.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
The whole thing is horrible on so many ends. But basically, he said, I don't want to know my kids, and I don't want my kids to know me.
Right. And I think
this article came up, I guess, just because of the Jazz's run, and they were talking about how they should tear down his statue. He's not the hero that everyone seeks him out to be.
No, this article came really out because now he's living a trucker life type deal because he's on the road trucking. He's got his own trucking company and stuff like that, and I think most of this really came out is when he started blasting about Michael Jordan and all this stuff. When he did a commentary on ESPN, so people who Michael Jordan is, so they started digging into Karl Malone's life, and that's kind of how these articles came out play because everybody's digging around Karl Malone because his hatred towards Michael and stuff like that. So you got the Michael fans who's now turning around Karl Malone's life and trying to find all this stuff, and some people, and I think if I'm not a fact, I think one of the Chicago Bulls fans hired a private investigator who found some of this out and started blasting to the media.
That's interesting. I've never heard this story, so I'm kind of like Whoa.
I just read it. I think I read it on Thursday. The headline was Karl Malone's not the hero we think he is, or something along that verbiage. And I was like, huh? And it just intrigued me to read. And then I didn't know any of it.
Right.
Right.
Cool. All right. Well, we have a special guest tonight. We've got Vernon Sizzle Sims. What's up, Sizzle? How you doing tonight?
What's going on, guys? How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us tonight. Andrew, why don't you introduce Sizzle and tell us what he does?
All right. So for those of you who do not know, this is the king of sneakers across the USA right now. If there is a sneaker that you cannot find, he has it in his warehouse. I can guarantee you that. And he can get it to you overnight. There is nothing that this man does not have. And he has started his business from one pair of shoes to how many are in the warehouse right now?
I couldn't tell you.
There you go. You think I have a lot of sneakers? I have maybe 15, 20 pairs. This guy has a warehouse now. And he has become one of StockX's, if you are familiar with StockX, it's the largest reselling platform for sneakers and other memorabilia. And he has become one of StockX's, is it top 5?
Yeah, I'd say that top 5, really top 5.
Top 5 in the USA. He's been featured on CNN, MSNBC, and now he's here with us. And he's gonna, I wanted to bring him on just because I think his story is fascinating. As a big sneakerhead myself, I'm a real, excited to pick his brain and talk to him about it and to introduce him to our audience and let him talk about, his story and where he thinks things are going.
All right, so, cool. Well, yeah. So tell us, how'd you get into the sneaker game, man? Tell us the story.
Well, man, that really started in high school. I used to work at Finish Line, and I used to always, buy Jordans. And at the time, authentic jerseys were like a thing, right? Mm-hmm. So we would buy like authentic jerseys and swingman jerseys, and I would sell them on eBay. And so that would be like my little movie theater money, what have you, back then. But that's kind of how it started and how I kind of got my passion for sneakers. And then I kind of left it alone. I was in the music industry for a pretty good while. That's actually how I met Andrew. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I moved here to Atlanta, Georgia. And really just one day I bought a pair of shoes and I was like, and in fact, it was a Steph Curry. Steph Curry is like a birthday shoe. It's like confetti. It actually looks pretty cool. But I bought the shoe and I was like, man, I wonder if I could sell shoes again. And so I just flipped it and I was like, wow, that was easy. And then I went and I got, the next one was Michael Jordan. It was the Jordan 12, the flu game. And I sold that. And I was like, okay, this might be a thing. So I kept going to the Nike outlet every single day. And I would just find shoes to flip on eBay. And it just went from there.
So you were buying them at retail and then flipping them, marking them up on eBay and all that. And people were looking for these shoes everywhere, huh?
Right. Well, in the beginning, I was going to the outlets and I was finding deals on shoes. Mm-hmm. So I was getting them for like a cheaper price and then just flipping them on eBay, seeing what I could get. And then once I learned the game, I pretty much learned how to buy them for retail, see what people want, supply and demand, basically.
How hard would you say it was to get into the game? To just go from the local guy who comes in and buys a pair of Jordans to go and get that deal to do what you wanted to do?
I tell you what, I started in June of 2016. I started making pretty good money. I'd say that October, November of that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Now,
was the Jordans that intrigued you the most, or that gave you the vision of realizing the third third-party market for the most gain of profit?
You're asking, was it Jordans?
No, was it Jordan? Yeah, was it Jordans? Was it the secondhand market for Jordans that gave you the realization that you had a business here?
Actually, it was Yeezys.
It was easy. Did you have the first ones?
It was Yeezys. I didn't. The first Yeezy I ever had was, I think, a Yeezy 750, the chocolate one. And that
What
was
did
the
you
first
pay
shoes.
retail? Well, retail or not retail? What did you pay? What did you flip?
Oh man, if I can remember, I think those were around like $300. I think I sold it for over $1,000, and that was when I realized, I was like, oh damn, this is money. You know what I mean? I didn't really know until I sold that Yeezy.
So wait, someone paid $1,000 for a pair of sneakers.
Oh yeah,
Now,
and
that's insane.
yeah.
What's the
yeah,
most expensive shoe you sold?
Probably that one.
That one.
Yeah.
Is that also the shoe that you've seen the most net on?
No.
Which
No.
shoe would you say you've seen the most net on?
No, because there's off-white Jordans which only cost around $170 and they sell around the same thing. So if I'm paying $170 for Jordans, but I was paying $300 for the Yeezy, so I would say the net was bigger on the Jordan. But
do you feel the retro Jordan game has been overkilled?
In a sense, yeah, but I feel like Jordans will never go out of style. You may have a couple silhouettes that might not hit the same way the others do, but it's still a Jordan. I don't know what it is about Michael Jordan, his shoes. I always tell people I feel like that's why LeBron will just never be better, because his shoes just will never move like that. Like him as just a brand, it will never be bigger than Jordan. But yeah, Jordans will always be there. Now you have other shoes like Adidas NMDs, Ultra Boost, where like they make a ton of colorways and they kind of burn it out, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. But Jordans, they can make however many colorways they want, but if people like it, they're going to get them just because it's Jordan shoe.
Interesting. Ray grew up in California. Ray actually, knew Michael when he was just Mike Jordan way back in the day. Yeah. Ray goes way back with Jordan. Yeah.
Nice.
Tell Sizzle about that a little bit, Ray.
Well, I'll go all the way back to when he played, when he got cut from the high school team, when he actually played baseball for his high school team, then got picked up by the varsity team. I watched him play in the state tournament. I went down with Dean Smith because my father was a security guard for Dean Smith at the time. So I went down to actually when he recruited to go watch him play. But Roy Williams was the actual guy who was recruiting Michael Jordan. And the story was he was going to go to NC State because David Thompson was his role model. But Roy Williams got him to drop that. And when he started, playing pool with him. And then his dad fell in love with Roy Williams playing pool. And then Michael Jordan never could take Roy Williams' money. So he had to go to Carolina to eventually to take Roy Williams' money away from him playing pool. So it was a battle all the way out through the whole entire year for him and that. So that's why he went to Carolina. But the reason why Dean Smith went down, because Roy told him that he had some guy in his camp, because Jim Valvano wouldn't let him in his basketball camp at the time because it was over full. So he went to Carolina basketball camp. They let him in, and Roy, that's when he actually found out about Michael Jordan. And then the reason why he became Michael Jordan was Woody Durham couldn't keep pronouncing him Mike Jordan. He said it didn't sound good on the road. So he said Michael Jordan sounded better. That's why he became Michael Jordan at the end of in 1984. So
he's been a fan of Jordan when Jordan was wearing Converse.
Yeah,
that's crazy. No, that's background info right there.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember those Carolina blue Converse that Jordan wore in college before he got the Nike deal. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So now so you're selling this stuff now. Do you have a website that people go to, or people find you on eBay? How do people find you?
So I don't. I do have an eBay account. I partnered up with this company called StockX. I don't know if you're familiar, but when I first started in 2016, I started selling on eBay first. Then I sold on this platform called GOAT. And then StockX came about, and I started selling with them, and we just created like a good rapport with each other. And I've just been selling with them really ever since. I don't do too much of person-to-person selling. Kind of dangerous. I'd rather not. So doing everything through the apps and everything is cool.
Do you have a story of a person to person that is a perfect example of that?
Yeah. When I used to stand in line for shoes, I'm sure you've heard of the whole, you go to a store a whole 24 hours before the release date, camp out outside. So I did that one time at a store. These actually weren't even Jordans. These, I think, were some Pharrell shoe. But yeah, I was out there all night. Store opened. Season wasn't open. I guess someone must have cut the line or something like that, and they get to arguing, they get to fighting. Someone pulls out a knife and a gun and just did it.
Did you get the shoe?
Wow. Did I? No, sir. I ran.
That's a crazy story, and we hear that all the time with Black Friday sales and iPhone sales. I mean, people are nuts for stuff in general, as I'm sure you've seen. You get these probably bidding wars on eBay and stuff like that, like this, the price going up and up for a pair. Now, are people buying these to collect them and put them in a display case, or are people actually wearing these shoes?
Both. Here recently, the past couple years, the whole culture of sneaker reselling has just been crazy. Everybody is selling sneakers. Everybody's into it. Honestly, I feel like the pandemic has a lot to do about it. I mean, the pandemic made people sit down, right? It made people go home, sit down, think about their lives, think about what they're going to do to make money. And a lot of people, they just got to thinking and they're like, damn, I could actually make money, selling sneakers. And so that makes everybody go and do it.
Right.
And so that's what everyone's doing right now. But there are some people who do collect them, just to stock. And then there's two different types. There's your resellers, right? And then you have your people who get shoes that aren't necessarily reselling shoes because there's not enough of them to resell, right? Like if you're talking a game one Michael Jordan shoe, that might be auctioning for $1 million or so or whatever the price is. But there's really only one of them, So people who get those are definitely doing that to collect.
When COVID first hit and everything started shutting down, what was your first thought in regards to your business?
I'm gonna have to go online.
Was there a concern that you had? Did you feel that you were going to be more limited or have a harder time getting what you needed?
Sure. And I think everyone was, but like everything you just maneuver, you know what I mean? For me, I think that's when I got my warehouse, because I wanted to send all the shoes that I was ordering somewhere because I didn't want it to fill up my living room, So I knew that I was going to just have to order a bunch of stuff online and send it to the warehouse. And that's kind of how I moved during that time.
So a year and a half or so, a year and 3 months after COVID, would you say that you're surprised that the sneaker market did better and exceeded expectations, or do you think that it went the opposite direction?
No, I'm absolutely surprised. It grew like substantially. My sales damn near doubled. And what happened was you had a lot of people who were just getting unemployment. They had money.
Right.
Like the pandemic came, but people had money. They had unemployment and then they had the stimulus. And everyone was just taking the money and just buying whatever they wanted to buy because who knows? It's not like they had anywhere to wear it to, but they still got it. And they still bought it.
And listen, I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of stimulus money that went straight from the government into your bank account through sneakers.
Absolutely.
That's great. Now, Andrew said that you also did some jersey stuff. You're still doing jersey stuff? Are you still in that business?
I used to. When I was in high school, that was like my bread and butter. It was authentic jerseys all day.
Oh wow! So you were doing this back in the day, huh?
Back in the day, yeah. In fact, it was more so. It was more so jerseys than it was sneakers back then. Honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed as a sneaker collector myself, and I guess because of the violence that has ensued across the country, the limited Jordan, I know Yeezys are different, but like the limited Jordans and Kobe's or LeBron releases, I feel like Nike's kind of done away with that and have made more availability. I also have retro shoes more often, as we've seen with the Jordan 11 line. Do you think that has hurt the business and the collectability? Have you noticed that it's hurt the business for yourself as well? Made it easier that there's more shoes out there for you to get? And then where do you see it going as far as just from a collectability standpoint? Not really a business standpoint, but a collectability standpoint.
No, man, because honestly, I think Nike knows what they're doing. Like they know that there's a secondary market. They know that people are buying shoes like this. They know that if they only make 100 pairs, it's going to make them that much more popular in the aftermarket. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Nike, new shoe. We can't get it. It's crazy. You know, I think they know what they're doing. So I think they almost like purposefully do it, you know? And I feel like they do. I think they manipulate the market a little bit. You know, they'll never admit it, but I feel like they do.
What's the shoe of 2021 that you're waiting to get that you just know is going to be a hit once it comes?
There are these Bread Jordan 1s, and they're like patent. Like the material is patent leather.
Wow.
It comes out in October. Yeah.
Wow. I have an interesting question, and then I know we want to talk about jerseys for a minute. You know how with baseball cards, sometimes there's like a card that was like a misprint and it becomes a collectible. Is that something in sneakers where, you know, there was like a miss like one of the stocks of sneakers was like maybe the Nike swoosh is pointed the wrong way or something, and those become collectibles? So they're marking on that?
I've only seen one shoe like that, and I know that one shoe went for a whole lot of money because it was like damn, I forget what shoe it was, but it's what you're talking about.
Wasn't it like a pair of Carmelos, like Carmelo Jordans? There was a big error like that.
Oh, you're talking about the 13s. I think
Carmelo 13s.
Carmelo 13s came out. They were in stores. Stores were ready to sell them, and then I guess Nike had every store send them back like the day before they were supposed to come out. And yeah.
All right. So as you see, our boy John Suggs says the Nike SoCal Air Force One Supreme. I heard they went for like $50K. Is that accurate? Do you know anything about this?
Yeah. No, that's true.
That's pretty spot on, huh?
There's definitely shoes that are like that. Those and the ones everyone talks about, the Back to the Future shoe.
I was just gonna ask, have you flipped a pair? Have you flipped a pair of those ever?
I have not touched it.
No,
I have not even touched it. I've never held it in my hand.
Oh wow!
What about the whole foam posit game? Do you think that the foams have died down? Do you think that that's gotten out of control?
It depends. If there's a special type of foam posit, it'll go. The thing with foams is they're expensive, right? You know, they're around like $250, and that's because they're made well. You know, they're made very well. Like they're very durable. You know what I mean? So it's just the price point.
Cool.
When you go out, just your everyday, are you in something special just to get some attention? Or are you just regular New Balance guy, just comfort, not even trying to get eyes on your feet?
Oh no, I don't wear anything special. In fact, all these shoes I've bought, like I'm not a sneakerhead at all. Like I like them, I like the way they look, but I don't wear shoes like that. I have like 3 Concord 11s because it's my favorite Jordan ever, Concord 11s. I told myself I'd wear one, I'd have one for backup, and I just have one I put in a glass case and never touch. I've never worn any of them. I've never worn any of my Yeezys. I just don't wear shoes, you know?
All right, so surprise, shock them right now because I know this. I don't know the exact number. I wouldn't ask you that, but just tell them how much in gross. Go shock them already.
On a yearly basis, probably a couple million. All
right, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good for you, bro.
So you're taking us out to dinner next time we're in Atlanta, right?
You know, listen. As soon as you come to Atlanta, I got to heal first. You know, I'm still dealing with this Julio Jones trade. It hurt. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, but yeah, chime in on that. Let's hear your take on that whole thing.
Okay, here's my thing. Right. If you were going to trade, well, first I'll tell you, I got the scoop on what happened. Basically, so what happened was, I guess Julio asked for a trade earlier this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we all thought, okay, Julio was done. He didn't want to be here. But what really happened was he got wind that he was up to, like, for being traded. And so his pride kind of got hurt. And he was just like, wow, you know, all that I did. And now they're talking about I'm available. So that's what made him be like, okay, I'm out, you know? And so I just feel like if you knew you were going to trade Julio Jones, at that point, you should have scrapped everything. You know, I know they said, oh, we want a win now team. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if you want a win now team, you should have drafted Kyle Pitts, kept Julio, kept Ridley, kept Matt, and just had this dynamic offense where at least we can score the ball, right? Even if our defense is trash, you know. But now that you knew you were going to get rid of Julio, I would have scrapped everything. I would have gotten rid of Matt Ryan. I'd have got a new quarterback. I'd have got Kyle Pitts too, or whatever. I just would have scrapped everything because that just defeats the whole purpose. We should just start.
Did you renew your season tickets already?
I'm sorry.
Did you renew your season tickets already?
I mean, I'm loyal, man. I got those every year, baby.
There you go.
You know,
I got my
I'm a
Jaguar
real-
tickets every year too. So
Yeah. Are you excited?
yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
This town's pumped. They already got a new works in for a new hotel downtown already.
Really?
Yep.
That's
Wow.
crazy. I just want to see Tebow catch a couple passes. You know?
Hey, Sis,
You know?
we got a question that came in from our boy Mike. How are you feeling about the Zion 1? So, what do you think about those?
I mean, I like him. I like Zion's first. If you're talking about the first shoe that he had on Jordan Brand, I like those. I wish they would give him. Here's the thing: when players sign on to Jordan Brand, it hurts them, right? Because they can't have their own shoe. Like they're still attached to Jordan. Anything that's next to Jordan, it's just not gonna do what it needs to do. Like at least LeBron has his own shoe, you know, and some LeBron sell. You know, at least Kobe had his own shoe. At least KD has his own shoe. So I just think the whole Jordan Brand thing, I don't think that's a smart move, man. Just get your own.
Do you think it's kind of over the top when, you know, kind of like how with the jerseys right now in the NBA, some teams have 4 or 5 uniforms. Every team has 4 uniforms, some have 5 or 6. But do you think like Zion, you know, he has 12 different colorways, 15 different colorways for one shoe a season? Do you think that that's over the top?
Zion. Back in the day, I would say yeah, but in today's day, it's like everyone's into like options and colors, and so it's like you just gotta kind of move with the times. But I get what you're saying though. Like back in the day, it would have been just Pelicans colorways,
right?
You know,
Home and
yeah.
playoff colors. You have
Correct.
white shoe for the season, and you have the black for the playoffs. I mean, just
Yep.
go look at the Jordan line, and that's the exact case for every shoe. You know, 1 through 13.
Exactly.
No, it's crazy, and to think about how far they've come. Because you know, if you think about half. Okay, what did Mike say here? I have those color waves.
He's not lying.
No, he's not. He's not lying. No, but the thing about like, I'm thinking about like, you know, I remember the Celtics teams of the '80s wearing those green and white Converse, you know, and then and then how it just kind of, you know, then Jordan took the whole shoe game to a whole other level. You know, the red, white, and black Jordans, and I remember I wanted those. I just couldn't afford them growing up and that type of thing. And now, it's crazy. I mean, I just bought a pair of like Skechers that are like multicolored. That's the first time I ever bought a shoe that crazy in my life, you know. So it's interesting how the game has changed, you know, for fashion reasons, for investment reasons, you know, for just style, for everything. And obviously the NBA has really pushed this, you know, especially because that's, you know, that's where most of the sneakers are used on the excuse me, on the NBA court, you know.
And they did away with the rule where they used to have to match the team uniforms. Now they can be any colorway. And now the players are taking it to the next level. What do you think of the custom 1-of-1s that these guys get done for them?
I mean, they're cool, right? Like how cool would that be if someone got a custom 1-of-1 shoe and then somebody got a hold of it? You know, no one ever had.
Have you seen them? Have you seen them out on the third market? Or secondhand market? I'm sorry, the secondhand market.
Have I held one? No. Have I seen them at like trade shows or something like that? Yeah.
What have you seen?
Oh man, they had this. Chris Paul always has them. Like Jordan, he always has like a lot of Jordan 11s that are like PEs, and that are just his. So like those definitely for sure. Kobe had some, I believe. Yeah.
Have you heard? And I'm just asking you out of curiosity. Have you know in the sneaker game? I'm sure it's a big community within a small community. But have you ever heard of guys linking up with players to sell PEs and breaking off players for hooking them up?
I haven't personally. But I mean, shit, I'm sure it happens.
I'm sure it's done. I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
I have one more question, and then I want you to tell everybody where everyone can find you and buy sneakers and stuff. You see that sometimes at the end of the games, these players will take their game worn sneakers and hand them to people in the crowd. Now, obviously, a game worn is a memorabilia, but is a game worn worth more than a fresh out of the box because it's worn by a player, or is it just kind of depends on who the player is or all that stuff?
Absolutely. It's kind of like, what we talked about earlier where, you have your shoes that you just buy and resell, but then you have special ones that might be autographed or like the player actually wore them. And then those are the ones you see on like those big sports auctions that they'll be like, oh, shoe worn by XYZ, and then they'll mark up the price, but no, definitely.
Cool. All right. We got one more comment for you here. Do you know about these shoes?
Some guy coated in 24 karat gold. I don't remember the gold coated one, but I do remember the OVOs. He's got a couple of them. He had 8s, and I think he might have had 12s for sure. But that's another thing. A lot of people endorse and get into it. Like Drake has a shoe. Travis Scott is like the new Kanye, for today's millennials. Like today's kids don't know Kanye like we knew Kanye, when he was coming up. So like these new kids, their Kanye is Travis Scott. So he does all these collaborations with Jordan, and they sell out so crazy. J Balvin, he's a Spanish artist, he has his own Jordan 1. So that's a thing too. Do
you think it's the celebrity name alone? Because I'm not even into Yeezys. I don't like how they look. I don't know if they're comfortable enough, but do you think it's strictly the Kanye West name that makes these so highly coveted?
Absolutely. Because he endorses it, because he wears them. Because it started out, he was with Nike first. I don't know if you knew that. He was with Nike first. And the most popular shoe he's ever had are called the Red Octobers. They're with Nike. And just he wore them, and everyone just went crazy. And so then he was like, oh, damn, I could do something with this. He got with Adidas and designed his own sneaker. And just because everyone follows him, it's just what it is. That's why it's like a cult-like thing, which is why Travis Scott is in that same conversation.
Cool. Very cool.
You're from Atlanta. My favorite shoe that gets talked about, you've never seen those, when Usher wore those all gold 11s.
Oh, yeah.
Those are hot.
Definitely dope, man.
Cool, very cool. So Vernon, if people want to buy sneakers, where can they find them with you? Where can they go?
I would tell them, man, just go on Instagram and find me and just send me a message. Instagram, it's Sizzle Hybrid, like the car, so SIZZLE Hybrid. The car, and just shoot me a message, and I'll take care of you.
All right, cool. Everyone go to Sizzle's Instagram, check him out. All right, well, why don't we just have the end of the show here. We do our last chance to bring it. So just any sort of hot take. You already talked about the Falcons. So if you got another sports hot take for us, just drop it on us if you want.
Listen, next year, the Warriors will win the championship. Klay Thompson will come back. He will be decent. He'll be decent enough to at least, catch and shoot. My hope is that we somehow get Damian Lillard, right? From the Bay Area.
We like your Golden State, like die hard now?
Oh, been that way since Jason Richardson, man.
Oh, you go back. Okay, you go back. Okay.
You're not a Hawks fan, man. Huh? You're not a Hawks fan? You're not even checking out the Hawks right now?
I'm not. I can't do it. Like, I've been to some games, and like I'll root for them. Like, I hope they're winning now. I haven't been looking, but I mean, Trey's cool. I've never been a Hawks basketball fan. I was always like a Jordan fan, right? I was a fan of a player and not necessarily a team. But then I just fell in love with Jason Richardson, and just started dunking on everybody, and I just liked the Warriors ever since then. So, and then I liked the whole story of when they first started getting good. No one expected them to be that way. So I like to think I got on the roll when they were, not juggernauts yet.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The Hawks are down. Hawks are down 7, by the way, but 3 minutes left in the third, so they still got a shot here.
Wasn't one of Richardson's best performances in the dunk contest in Atlanta?
Who? Jason?
Wasn't one of Richardson's best dunk contest performances in Atlanta?
I'm not sure. Is that where he won it at?
Well, he won like 3 in a row. So, but I'm pretty sure Atlanta was one of the ones where he was just like, it was on another level. That was like his coming out party.
Yeah.
Probably. He was sick, man. I just, yeah.
Exactly.
He was sick.
All right, cool. So Golden State to the championship next year. That's Sizzle's hot take. All right, Ray, what's your last hot take of the night?
Hey, my Hornets are not going to be the laughing stock in the NBA anymore.
All right.
That's my hot take.
There we go. There we go. All right, Drew, what you got? Last take it in that.
From Long Island, so we gotta talk about the New York Islanders for 1 second on the show, and gotta talk about some hockey. Let's go Islanders. So, time to get some retribution against the Lightning from last year, and let's bring the Stanley Cup back to Long Island, and the last time in the Coliseum too.
Yeah, that's right. They're building an arena out there. That is correct. Well, I'm going to contrary that, because on this date in 1994 is when Gary Bettman said, "Mark Messier, come get the Stanley Cup for my Rangers." So that was that's one of my favorite days of my life, was when the Rangers lifted that cup that day. And I know it's only been one, and it probably won't get another one for another 40 years, like we had to wait, so that kind of thing. So who knows about that? But Sizzle, I want to thank you for joining us, man. Really, really appreciate your time and hanging out. And you're welcome anytime you want to come back and drop some knowledge on us. Just hit us up. You can come back anytime, man.
Nice, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate you guys for having me. I enjoyed it.
Oh, cool, cool.
He did us a favor on this one, but he did say the next one he wants the Sour Patch Kids sent to him.
It's actually Haribo Gold Bears. Best gummy bears ever.
All right. Maybe we can get them as a sponsor for the show. That'd be good, right? Haribo, let's manifest that. Haribo Gold Bear as a sponsor. All right. Guys, Andrew, Ray, thank you once again. Bringing it hard every week like we always do. We will see you guys next Monday night with more stuff. You never know what's going to happen this week in sports. The Aaron Rodgers saga continues, and maybe he'll figure out what's going on with that, but that's a show in itself. So, we will see everybody next week. So, take care. Real Talk is next on ASAP. We'll see you next time.